Hello and welcome back to Hack the Web series. In this video, we're gonna talk about SQL injection and we'll also see some practical implementation of it. So first of all, we'll talk about what is SQL. After that, we'll take an overview of different SQL commands. And after that, we'll switch to SQL injection and try some practical of it. Let's talk about what is SQL. SQL is stand for Structured Query Language, which is a programming language for storing or processing information in a relational database. Basically, it is used for relational database management system. It has three types of commands: DML, DDL and DCL. So I'm not going to cover them here because this is a SQL injection tutorial, not a SQL tutorial. So I'll leave some resources in the description. You can go to the video or website and learn SQL from there. You don't have to learn the whole SQL. You just need a basic overview of SQL to follow this tutorial. But we're going to cover all the exercises related to this command that are given in the WebGoat. So this is our first exercise in SQL and this exercise is related to SQL query. So here we have to retrieve the data of an employee named Bob Francisco from this database named as employees. So let's start it. For that we will run command select star from then the database name employees where, and I'm going to use Bob Francisco's user ID where user ID equals to then the user ID, then put a semicolon, and we successfully retrieve the data of Bob Francisco. Now let's move to the second one. So this is related to a data manipulation language query, and here we have to change the department of Toby to sales. So let's go back to our first task. Here is the table given. So this is the user named Toby, and currently his department is development and we have to change it to sales. So for that I'll use his user ID. I'll copy it, go back, and here I will use the update command. Update, then the database name which is employees, set department, and I'll set the department to sales where user ID equals to the user ID of Toby, then a semicolon. Now hit submit, and we successfully overwrite it and change the department of Toby to sales. Now let's move to the next. So this exercise is related to DDL command. So now we have to modify the table and add a new column named as 4 with a varchar 20 in the employees table. So for that we will use the command alter table, then the table name which is employees, then add, then the column name we want to add, in my case phone. Then after that we need to mention it data type which is varchar 20, put a semicolon. Now hit submit. So we successfully added a new column named as phone. So this exercise is related to DCL command. So here is our task: try to grant any rights to the table, grant rights to the user, unauthorized user. So basically we have to use the command grant to grant any rights to the unauthorized user in the grant rights table. So let's see how we can do that. Grant, then the command you want to grant to the user, select on, after that the table name, in our case grant rights, then to, then the user to which we want to grant rights, after that a semicolon. Now hit submit. So we successfully completed it. Now let's move on and see what is SQL injection. SQL injection attack consists of injecting any malicious code or query, SQL query, in the input field from the application side. It will go on the server and execute it there, and the payload will do its work. It will harm the confidentiality, integrity and availability of data. So we'll talk about this later. So here is the example of a query that is written on the server side. Let's understand this code. So it is written that select star from users means select all the data from the table users where the name equals to, the name is basically a column name. Here the username is given. The username is basically provided by the client. Whatever value the client will provide, this will be replaced with the username, and all the data of the user will be retrieved. So as you can see here as an example, if the user puts Smith, then the query will something look like this. and it will retrieve all the data of Smith. Here is the input field. We can input data here to see how the code will look in the backend. I'll put my name, and as you can see, the query will something look like this. So here are different payloads of SQL injection which we can use to perform SQL injection. So here is a query. After writing my name, I can add a column so that the query will end here, and after that I'll put some another payload which is or1 equals to 1, of course, which is a true statement. And at the end, I'm not going to use column because by default it uses a column. So what this query will look in the database is something like this. Here it is showing 1 equals to 1, but when it will be executed, the 1 equals to 1 will become true and all the data will be retrieved even if the name is given Smith, but in the or statement the true is available. Just because of that, all the data from the users table will be retrieved and the hacker can get all the data. So this is the second payload. It is similar to the first one, but the only difference here is after using the 1 equals to 1 command, it uses 2 hyphen, which is a inline command. Means after if I write 2 hyphen here, then after that whatever command I will write, that not going to be executed and considered as a comment. So here is our third payload. So this payload is a bit different from the previous two. So in this we are chaining multiple SQL commands. Means once this query ends, after that we put a semicolon and start writing our own command. So here we can write different commands like insert, update. Here in the example they use drop command to drop the table user, but we can write multiple command and we can chain all of them just like this, and at the end we can use double hyphen or a hashtag to comment out all the code available after that. So here we will try a string SQL injection. So let's see how we can use this. So this is the code that is written in the background. So here we will select data from user data table where the first name is already mentioned. We don't have to do anything with, but the last name we have to choose from here, and we will also choose a payload from here. The last name equal to then a colon, after that the last name which is the variable, and the data that is provided by the user from here will be placed here, and after that the closing quotation mark. So let's see how you can exploit it. So there is already a quotation mark available here. So to end this query here, I only want one quotation mark after providing the name, which is the last option. After that we'll use the or statement, so that after checking this, it will check this, and even if the first statement is not true, if this statement becomes true, then it will give me all the data. So I'm going to choose this one because at the end there is a quotation mark available, and in this payload the quotation is missing. So this is the perfect match for it. Now I'll hit on get account info. We successfully retrieve all the data from the database. Now let's move to our next challenge. Let's see how you can solve this numeric SQL injection. So here is the query that is used in the backend. We are taking two arguments. First one is login count and second one is user ID, and both are treated as a number. So here is a warning showing that only one of them is vulnerable and another is not vulnerable to SQL injection. So we have to first of all find which field is vulnerable and which one is not. So first of all, I'm going to type a colon in the first one, and in the second one I'll give a number. Now hit on get account info. In error, if you can see here, which is the application is unable to parse colon to a number. Means we can insert anything like colon or any type of text in the first field. So the first field is not vulnerable. That means the second field must be vulnerable. So let's try a colon also in the second field. Now it can get account information. As you can see here, no error like unable to parse to integer is showing in the second field. Means the second field is vulnerable with SQL injection, and we can try SQL injection here. So let's try SQL injection here. I will provide a number. After that a or statement where I'll write a statement that will be true, which is 1 equals to 1. Now hit get account info, and we successfully retrieve all the data from the database. Now let's move to the next exercise. So in this exercise, we're going to see how to break the confidentiality of a company using SQL injection. So let's start it. Here is a task. So there is a user named John Smith working in a company, and in the company everyone is assigned a unique key using which they can view their data. But here is our task is to break the confidentiality of the company and view all the data in the employees table. So let's see how you can do it. So here is the query that is running on the server. So it will take the last name of the employee and then the key which is given here, and according to that it will show the data. So let's try it. So this is the last name of the user and this is the key. Now get employee data. As you can see, it is showing the John Smith data, but we have to view all the users data. So for that we can use SQL query chaining. So after this authentication 10, I'll add a colon to end it and put a semicolon. After that I'll start writing my own code which I want to execute, which is called query chain. Select star from then the table name employees. Then after the semicolon, then double dash to skip all the code that will come after this. Now hit get employee data, and we successfully get the employee data, all of the employee data. So in this exercise, we'll see how we can compromise the integrity using query chaining. In the last exercise, we found out that the Toby and Bo both are earning more than John Smith. So in this task, we have to change John Smith's salary to the highest. So let's go back to our previous exercise and view the table. As you can see, Bob is earning the highest 83,000 and we have to change the salary of John Smith to the highest. Let's go back. Fill the last name of the employees which is Smith. After that the unique code. After that add a closing code and a semicolon to end the query. Now we'll write a update command which will update the salary of Smith. Update, then the table name employees, set salary equals to, so we have to set it to more than Toby which is 84,000, where so we have to mention the user ID of Smith which is given here. User ID equals to, now add a semicolon and double dash to skip all the code that will come after it, and we successfully update the salary of John to the highest 84,000. Now let's move to the next task, and we have to compromise the availability, means we have to delete some file. We have to drop that access log table. So let's see how we can do that. So we'll add a colon to end the query, whatever going on. After that we can add our own code. Drop table, then the table name which is access log. After that put a semicolon and double hyphen to skip all the code that will come after it. Now hit search logs, and we successfully deleted the access log table. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something valuable and new. So in the next video we will discuss about blind SQL injection. So subscribe the channel, and if you like this video then like it, share it with others, and see you in the next video.